Fulfillment text 2. We're going to jump right into it. Matthew 2, 5 through 6. After JC was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where's the one who has been born of the King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the peoples, chief priests, and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Matthew 2, 5 through 6. Alright, now, they got this from Micah 5, 1 through 6. "Marshal your troops now, city of troops, for a siege is laid against us. They will strike Israel's ruler on the cheek with a rod. But you, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from ancient times. Therefore Israel will be abandoned until the time when she who is in labor bears a son, and the rest of his brothers return to join the Israelites. For he will stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of Yahweh, and the majesty of the name of Yahweh is Elohim, and they will live securely, for then his greatness will reach to the ends of the earth, and he will be our peace when the Assyrians invade our land and march through our fortresses. We will raise against them 7 shepherds, even 8 commanders, who will rule the land of Assyria with the sword, the land of Nimrod with drawn sword. He will deliver us from the Assyrians when they invade our land and march across our borders." Note, the above prophecy has happened with King Hezekiah. Let's get to it. For background, we're going to 2 Kings 18, 6 through 7. "For he clave to Yahweh and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments which Yah commanded. And Yah was with him, and he prospered wheresoever he went forth, and he rebelled against the king of Assyria, and served him not." 2 Chronicles 32, 1 through 8. "After these things, and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered Judah, and encamped against the fenced cities, and thought to win them for himself. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was proposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountain, which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? Also, he strengthened himself and built up all the wall that was broken, and raised it up to the towers, and another wall without, and repaired Millo in the city of David, and made darts and shields in abundance. And he set captains of war over the people, and gathered them together to him in the street of the gate of the city, and spoke comfortably to them, saying, Be strong and courageous, be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all the multitude that is with him, for there will be more than us than with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is Yah our Elohim to help us and to fight our battles. Alright, 2 Chronicles 32, 20 through 23. And for this cause, Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amos prayed and cried to heaven, and Yah sent the angel, or Malach, which cut off all the mighty men of valor, and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword. Thus Yahweh saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all others, and guided them on every side. And many brought gifts unto Yah to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah king of Judah, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth. Now, if y'all remember the last video, if you didn't see the last video, Fulfillment Text 1, when we left off, we finna show y'all. It's a conclusion. I'm gonna put all of it together. Micah 5:15. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. 2 Chronicles 31, 6-10. Concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the cities of Judah, they also brought in the tithe of oxen and sheep, the tithe of holy things which was consecrated unto Yahweh their Elohim, and laid them by heaps. In the 3rd month they began to lay the foundation of the heaps and finished them in the 7th month. And when Hezekiah and the princes came and saw the heaps, they blessed Yah and his people Israel. Then Hezekiah questioned with the priests and the Levites concerning the heaps. Azariah, the chief priest of the house of Zadok, answered him and said, Since the people began to bring the offerings into the house of Yahweh, we have had enough to eat and have left plenty, for Yah have blessed his people. And that which is left is this great store. Isaiah 9:7. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this. Okay, 2 Chronicles 32, 27-29. And Hezekiah had exceedingly much riches and honor, and he made himself treasuries for silver and for gold and for precious stones and for spices and for shields and for all manner of pleasant jewels, storehouses also for the increase of corn and wine and oil, and stalls for all manner of beasts and coats for flocks. Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for Yah had given him substance very much. Now y'all see the vengeance that was executed, Micah 5:15. They never heard of this happening before. They never heard of Yahweh and angels destroying all these men. They never heard of that. Hezekiah and them didn't even have to fight. Okay, that was something that was never heard before. Okay, in Isaiah 9:7. The increase of his government and peace shall there be no end. All right, side by side, we got Matthew 2, 5-6 and Micah 5:2. And you'll see how they changed it just a little slightly, right? Just enough to confuse people or to make them think it's what it's saying. So check how they do this. Check how subtle it is. Matthew 2, 5-6. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Now Micah 5:2. But you, Bethlehem Ephratah, though you are small among the clans of Judah. Y'all see how they changed it? They took Ephratah out and they put in the land of Judah. And Micah, it says, you are small among the clans of Judah. So they trying to switch clans for land. Then it says, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are of old, from ancient times. Matthew says, out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Let's check out Micah 1:1 and Isaiah 1:1. The word of Yahweh that came to Micah in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Now Isaiah, the vision of Isaiah, son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah, Jerusalem, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. This is just to let y'all know that Micah and Isaiah were alive around the same time, and both prophesied about the coming of King Hezekiah. All right, Matthew 2, 13-15. When they had gone, a messenger of Yah appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said. Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. 14. So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what Yahweh had said through the prophet. Out of Egypt I called my son. Okay, so where did they get this from? Hosea 11, 1 through 2. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. Israel, out of Egypt. But the more they were called, the more they went away from me. They sacrificed to the Baals, and they burned incense to images. This is for everyone who would say that it's talking about a child in the singular, just because they only see Hosea 11 and 1. But if you go to 11 and 2, you'll notice it's talking about a nation, not just one person. Even though it says child and son, it says they. Just like Isaiah 53, the suffering servant, right? Same thing. All right, so side by side, so you can really see what's wrong with this. You got Matthew 2:15. The fulfillment. Out of Egypt I called my son. Hosea. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. Also, Exodus 4:22 and 23. Then say to Pharaoh, this is what Yahweh says, Israel is my firstborn son. And I told you, let my son go, so he may worship me. But you refused to let him go, so I will kill your firstborn son. Next fulfillment, Matthew 2:16 through 18. When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity, who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah, this time they give you who the prophet is instead of just saying through the prophet. It says this, then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. All right, so let's go to Jeremiah 31:15 through 17. See the context of this. This is what Yahweh says. A voice is heard in Ramah, mourning and great weeping, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. This is what Yahweh says. Restrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for your work will be rewarded, declares Yahweh. They will return from the land of the enemy. 17. So there is hope for your descendants, declares Yahweh. Your children will return to their own land. So what is this talking about? Right here, they saying that Herod gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under. Right here, it's talking about slavery. They will return, see 16, the end of 16, they will return from the land of the enemy. So there is hope for your descendants. Your children will return to their own land. Also, what does Ramah have to do with Bethlehem? I want y'all to Google that. See how far Ramah is from Bethlehem, okay? Next fulfillment. Matthew 2:22 through 23. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee. And he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, with an S at the end, that he would be called a Nazarene. Note, there is no prophecy, fulfillment, or anything about this to reference. Nazareth wasn't mentioned in the Tanakh nor anywhere else until sometime in AD, historically, besides the New Testament. So this fulfillment doesn't even have a fulfillment to it. It's just something they threw in there for Nazarene or Nazareth. All right, let's look this up in Wikipedia since it's nowhere else. Although it is mentioned in the New Testament Gospels, there are no non-biblical references to Nazareth until around AD 200. Matthew 3:3. In those days, John the Baptist came preaching in the wilderness of Judea and saying, Repent, for the kingdom of heaven has come near. This is he who was spoken of through the prophet Isaiah, a voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for Yahweh, make straight paths for him. Matthew 3:3. All right, they got that from Isaiah 40, 1-5. Comfort my people, says your Elohim. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. 3. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for Yahweh, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Note, reading in context, this is about Yah comforting Israel after one of the exiles was over. Another one is Malachi 1:1. I will send my messenger who will prepare the way before me. Okay? Yah's prophets prepare the way for him and make it straight. Nothing to do with the New Testament. So again, we have another fulfillment that didn't add up. Keep in mind, none of them add up. Not one. None of them. As soon as you open up the New Testament, no fulfillments match up. So they called this a prophecy that was fulfilled about John the Baptist. But you can see in Isaiah, it's just Yah comforting Israel after they came back from exile. Next fulfillment, Matthew 4:12-16. When JC heard that John had been put in prison, he withdrew to Galilee. Leaving Nazareth, he went and lived in Capernaum, which was by the lake in the area of Zebulun and Naphtali. 14. To fulfill what was said through the prophet Isaiah. Y'all know this, the people, I'm gonna just go to 16. The people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned. Let's get that. Isaiah 9:1-2-6. Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. And this, in context, is leading up to Hezekiah's birth, right? It's leading up to 6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So in context, this is just letting them know what's to come. Nothing to do with JC hearing that John was put in prison and he left Nazareth, nothing about that. So I'm gonna go to Isaiah 9:6, the NIV and the Message translations. You'll see on the left it says, for to us a child is born, to us a son is given. Look on the right with the Message, it says, for a child has been born for us. So you see the difference. They trying to make it like present tense, future tense, and really it was past tense, right? All right, let's go to 2 Kings 18:1-7. I'm gonna read the bolded part starting at 5. Hezekiah trusted in Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, either before him or after him. He held fast to Yah and did not stop following him. He kept the commands Yahweh had given Moses and was with him. He was successful in whatever he undertook. He rebelled against the king of Assyria, and did not serve him. All right, that's all I got, y'all. To be continued. Next, we're going to do Matthew 8:16-17. I'm going to say shalom, and I'll see y'all on the next one.